Hey guys, Darren Savard here. I just had a few um, questions over the years about how I record guitar at home. Um, and I thought this is a good example to use this specific song. Now I won't have the vocal in just because I don't want the big reveal of all the hooks and everything. But so I got this song. Let me just mute all the guitar tracks. So what I got was something like this. I'll just play it from, let's say, the chorus. So kind of pop stuff. And he said, the producer said he wanted kind of epic soaring sort of thing. So this is the up part of the chorus. So you get the idea. So obviously I was asked to add guitar to it. So the verses are pretty sparse, but let's start with the choruses. I just want to kind of show you how I kind of stack the guitars up. So obviously that first part of the chorus it's sort of a build. So I just decided to put in a couple different things. So it starts with just a delay part coming in. So solo, it sounds like this. So it's kind of a rolling delay part. In addition to that, I've got this guitar going, which is kind of a hook counter melody to the vocal. Obviously you can't hear the vocal, but you kind of get the idea where I'm going with it. So that's kind of where the chorus goes. Now I had a so this is slide. I also added a slide part there. So pretty subtle. It's a very subtle part, but kind of fills it in. So now where the chorus comes in huge. So I've got in addition to these parts that I just played you, so what I typically do is I do a heavy guitar track that's doubled, kind of a rhythm, and then what I'll do is I'll do what I call diamonds, which is whole notes or whatever. Every chord change has just one nice strum to kind of open it up, and then I add stuff on top of that. So my two heavy diamonds and heavies. So here comes the chorus with the heavy guitars in. So the first one is this. So that's the rhythm one. And then the diamonds sounds like this. So together they sound, so it's pretty beefy. Now you'll notice that the heavy tone is kind of a mid-rangey, or the heavy rhythm tone it's a mid-rangey kind of thing, and the diamonds are kind of a more what I call mosquito-y tone, and I used a telly for it. So the two tones, kind of the heavy one with the rhythm has got the sort of chunk mid-range, and then the diamonds have this sort of more shimmery tone, which makes it sort of sonically fit together. In addition to that, I added a slide part, just to kind of give it some subtle movement. So you'll notice I'm going to put it in here. You might not hear it as clearly, but I'll solo it. But it's something to just kind of give it a slight bit of movement. So if I put just that part in. You know, and so my tuning's not perfect there, but the grand scheme of things, it widens it quite a bit. If it's just it's a little chorusy effect, as they say. You know, so yeah, so those heavies are in there. The delay part. Then if I add in the hook part. So you'll see there's a big stack of guitars there. Now, producers, that's what I send them. They don't always use all the tracks, but that's what I send them to use. Now, the entrance into that heavy part, I did a double, like a double swoop. I call them swoops, but they're basically slides. So here you'll hear just without the band, just that. So here, I'll turn them up a little bit. So it's a heavy tone. It's like a Marshall, I think I used for that. Now, later in the song, I kind of gave him different options because this producer likes to fly things around. So he'll move stuff around, kind of what he likes to do. But so what I did here was a little bit different, couple chugs. Let me just reset the. So you'll hear this. So there's that. And then at the end, I did, to go into the last chorus, so a bit of a longer sort of slide. Okay, so that's the chorus. So the chorus is beefy. Oh, here we go. Actually, one more. Actually, I'll get back to that in a second. So verses. So off the top, so let me put the band back in. Without the vocal, of course. So now the verse, you'll notice there's a guitar part in there. That's the guitars I got sent. He wasn't crazy about that hook. So what I sort of came up with off the top was this sort of clean part. It's kind of a clean, clicky hook part. You know, my idea for it maybe is to affect it a little bit or make it reverby and send it kind of further back. But this producer likes kind of sometimes when I send him clean stuff and he kind of messes with it. So that's in the verse. And I'm sending also 2 tracks called Candy tracks. Candy 1 and Candy 2. So Candy 2 is mostly slide. But Candy 1, you'll hear stuff like that, little arpeggios and candy, basically. So that, and you heard the slide come in there, so that's Candy 2. So just random stuff. Now, these tracks really don't get used all the way through the song. I typically fill up the song so much that it's too much. But so the producers kind of pick and choose what they want to use. So that's verse 1. Verse 2, it's kind of the song's rolling already. So I added this part, and it actually played it quite aggressive for the second verse. It's on a Strat. You guys can hear that. Now on its own, it kind of sounds weird, but if you blend it in, my idea was to kind of keep something sort of trucking through to give it some pulse. You know, even quieter. And you know, so keep in mind there's some acoustic in there and all that stuff. So that part's kind of meant to sort of propel it a little bit in the second verse. And that specific part was the one I was kind of referring to before. I brought it into the last chorus. So the 2 first choruses kind of just have the heavies and all that, but that rolling part I brought into the last chorus to kind of give it a bit of a lift. So it'll be hard to hear, but let the chords ring out to at least where this producer marks, and he puts a marker at the end and says, "This is the end of the song." I usually typically, if it will sustain longer, I'll let it go, and then he can chop it. So that's just kind of a little bit of a tour of the sort of process of adding guitars to a song. Now I have how many tracks here? Quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have about a dozen, maybe 13, 14, 15 tracks. So, and they all kind of, some of them have just little blips on them and stuff, but it's just kind of to give you an idea of what I send the producers and what they sort of like to work with. Now, this producer, I work with him a lot, so I know what he wants to hear. Certain producers will not want 15 tracks. They'll want like maybe 3 or 4 or something, like a couple heavies, a fill track and some solos or whatever. Now, this song doesn't have a solo, but when there's a solo in the song from this producer, he likes to have a lot of takes because he likes to comp. So I'll do, sometimes as many as 15 or 20 solos. Just send him the long list, the playlists, and he kind of goes through them and obsesses over it and makes it awesome. So anyways, that's kind of how I do it. So if you have any questions, drop a comment on the bottom. And we'll see you soon.